If you're interested in more content like this, you can check out Pale's Fundamentals on YouTube. Today we're doing a Trump-Denmark update based on what J.D. Vance has been saying.
Well, the interesting thing here is this all kind of stems from President-elect Trump wanting to acquire Greenland.
Right.
He hasn't exactly ruled out using military force, which is causing a bit of concern.
Yeah.
Especially since Greenland relies on Denmark for defense, and Denmark is a NATO member.
And Vance is the vice president-elect, right?
Right.
It's interesting because it seems like he thinks getting Greenland is a good idea, but maybe not through military action.
Right.
He thinks there's a deal to be made.
Yeah, he seems to think so.
Mm.
And part of his reasoning is that the U.S. already has a military presence in Greenland.
Okay.
Plus, his team met with some folks in Greenland who said they'd like to develop all the natural resources there.
So there's this push for development, but then you have Greenlandic and Danish officials saying Greenland is not for sale.
Exactly. That's where some of the tension comes from. Vance has even criticized the Danish government for not doing enough to secure Greenland.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to think that's why they might be having trouble controlling and protecting those resources.
And we know that at least some Danish officials have said privately that they'd be willing to either step up their own security or allow a greater U.S. military presence.
Right. It's a tough situation.
Yeah.
Especially with climate change opening up new opportunities for resource extraction in the Arctic.
Right.
There's more global competition for those resources now.
And Greenland was important for U.S. defense during the Cold War, too.
Yeah, it was part of an early warning system.
So there's a history of U.S. involvement there.
Exactly. And now with climate change, those mineral resources in Greenland are becoming more accessible. So the stakes are even higher now.
It sounds like we're seeing the start of a potential power struggle in the Arctic.
There are definitely some signs of that.
Yeah.
It's worth pointing out that Vance isn't alone in his thinking.
Right.
Trump's pick for National Security Advisor is Representative Mike Waltz, and he's also suggested that the incoming administration is ready to take bold steps to protect U.S. interests in Greenland.
So with all this going on, how does this impact the U.S. and Denmark's relationship?
Well, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
They've been allies for a long time, but now you have this growing U.S. interest in a territory that's under Danish control.
And Greenland's caught in the middle, too.
Exactly. They have their own distinct culture and identity. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, really.
It makes you think about what this all could mean for Greenland and its people.
Oh, absolutely.
Greenland's facing all these challenges, climate change, economic development.
Right.
How those issues are addressed will directly impact the lives of Greenlanders.
Yeah, for sure. It's crucial to stay informed about these developments.
Right.
Especially since they could really reshape the geopolitical landscape.
And the Arctic is becoming increasingly important on the world stage.
Absolutely.
So the choices made by countries like the U.S. and Denmark will have big consequences.
Yeah, they will. And it's important to remember that not all Republicans are on board with using military force in Greenland.
Oh, that's right. Senator James Lankford said the U.S. wouldn't invade another country.
Right.
He emphasized that that kind of action doesn't align with American values.
So there are definitely differing viewpoints within the Republican Party on the best way to handle this. It remains to be seen how the incoming administration will ultimately navigate all this.
One thing's for sure, this is something we need to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
And thanks to everyone for joining us for this Trump-Denmark update. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more, be sure to subscribe to the Pale's Fundamentals YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.